Have you ever spent a lot of time getting your child to do something like brush their teeth, and you feel like it's been an uphill battle the entire time? And then finally, the nagging stopped, and then they do what you asked? You think, oh, that's great, but now you brace yourself for the next battle. Getting your child to follow directions can take so much time and wear you out. And in previous videos, I've showed you how to get the children to listen to you and how to follow your directions. But this video, being the 16th in the series, it's really about how to keep your energy and your momentum so that you don't feel like it's a time suck all the time. Because it's really important that you focus on yourself and feel confident to make this impact. So don't forget, if you want to get some more information about how to get your child to follow directions, I really encourage you to go back to video 1, watch them in a sequence, get the guidebook from kidsmoveandlearn.com so you can take notes along the way and make it meaningful for your individual situation, because every child and every family is so unique and complex. So it's really helpful to watch the tips and ideas, watch the videos, but then reflect and think about how it applies to your situation. But for now, let's dive into how to avoid an uphill battle. So one of the things you need to remember is that no matter at what change has happened with your child, you are the catalyst. It might have been an uphill battle to get them to listen to even just one thing, but they couldn't do it before and now they can do it. You need to realize that you made that change. You visualized something, you had an expectation, you supported them, and you initiated that change. You persevered and you followed through. Think about a 3-year-old who maybe always jumps on the couch and you don't have them jumping on the couch anymore. Or maybe it's a 4-year-old who would never want to hold your hand crossing the road and now they want to hold your hand all the time. You know, there's certain things that you have done and you may not have realized, but because you were consistent about it, they are following those rules now. So what you've got to do, even after you've gone through one little change of behavior with your child, is think about what you really want to do next. Don't let the piles of things weigh you down. Look back at one thing that you've decided to change. So if you've used all 16 videos in a row and the guidebook, you could go back to your first expectation and your first directions that you wanted to give your child and think about what you wrote. Look over what you selected to change and think about the progress. Think about all of the progress, not just in whether your child's doing it or not doing it, but also in little baby steps. Maybe you are clearer in how to give them the support they need. Maybe the two of you are in a much more calmer place while you're going through the change of habit and getting it to be a habit. Think about progress. When I was teleworking and my son was doing virtual schooling in the other room, he interrupted me regularly for one reason or another. The thing that bothered me the most was that he would start yelling for me from the other room. He would just start screaming, and so I could hear him coming, and it didn't matter what I was doing at work. He would interrupt. Before he was even in the room, he was interrupting. So I had to teach him a new routine. And after a few days, that yelling turned into him quietly coming into my workspace and putting a little help card on my desk. He was still interrupting and asking for help a lot more than I thought he needed, but the yelling stopped. And the point is, I created that change. It was still difficult for me because there was still interruptions, but it was so much better to have these like quiet cue cards on my desk instead of yelling and screaming from the other day. There is another video about these interrupting help cards that you can find on the YouTube channel. So I really encourage you to go look for it, and it'll show you exactly how I made them and how I created that change. So remember, you're the change, even if it's baby steps. They say habits can take 21 days to be formed. So if you stick with something for 21 days, you're more likely to create a habit. And then things can become more automatic. And taking baby steps doesn't add too much stress trying to do too many things at once. This way, it's manageable and you can foster success at a much quicker pace. And as you work on the smaller steps and see the progress, you can think about what you might want to work on next. In my help card example, I then started focusing on what he was asking me for help with. And then on the evenings and on weekends, I would work on those items to get him to be more independent so that he wasn't asking for help on the same items all the time. Selecting baby steps and making a change is kind of like a cycle. So, you first have to visualize and analyze what it is that you want to change and plan those steps. And then the second step is to try small changes at a time. Do them with your child, get to start building some routines. And then the third step is to celebrate and review the progress. And then you would go back and think about the next things that you want to visualize, analyze, and plan. So one of the last things that's so critical to children and parents is to re-energize yourself in self-care. Before you switch to working on that next thing, first start doing something for yourself. Camaraderie with others and self-care is so important. And you might wonder why, and it's because we're really in this together. As moms, we sometimes get these unspoken expectations that we wear on our shoulders. And it's really easy for us to feel like we have a lot on our shoulders. But connecting with other moms really helps us realize that we're not in this alone. Self-care is important. It gets you the energy you need to move on to the next step. But it's also important that when you connect with other moms, don't compare. Every situation is unique. Every child and family dynamic is so complex and so many different variables. You cannot compare yourself to others. What you can do is learn from one another ideas and strategies that work and see if you could do them with yourself. Don't compare, don't judge, and be kind to yourself. It's so easy for us to be hard on ourselves because we can be our worst enemy. So thinking about what we've done in this video, remember being catalyst takes time and energy. Self-care is so important. It gets you the energy you need so that you can move on to the next step, so that you can be consistent, so that you can be there for your family. Without the self-care, without the oxygen mask on yourself first, it's really hard to help others. Give yourself that breathing space so you can help give it to others. Don't forget, if you really want to recognize your impact in the change, write down your successes, celebrate your successes, and connect with others and other adults to support. Kids Move and Learn is about giving you some ideas and connections with other moms and other families. Don't forget, if you like this video or find any of it helpful, please share and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you will get notified as soon as new videos are available.